Hi everyone. As you can see, I made some progress. Last week was a killer. I've actually had a lot of this done before, but I had helped my son. He tore out his, made a new room, and we had to tear a bunch of stuff out and put it all in. Sheetrock, everything. It was a long haul. Anyway, this is the bottom. I got to make sure this fits first in there. This is the bottom of the, and it's not glued in or nothing right now. Even that photo showed it didn't have it in. I need to see where the motor's going to fit. And will it fit under the hood? I'm quite sure it will, but hey, I made mistakes before. Wouldn't that be something? Do all that work in that dumb motor and it's too tall. Anyway, I've done it before. Anyway, I'm trying to squeeze this in there, and I ended up, I had to take the, what do they call it? Just to try to get it in there, I had to take the tie rod off the model. Because I was afraid of going to break something. I ended up breaking it anyway and had to fix it. And then I broke the axle on the other side because it was crooked. And it's brass, I'll bend it a little bit. Nope, it's shattered. I had to remake a new piece for it, which actually I've done today. It wasn't hard, it's just the idea that I had to. Anyway, this is just to get that in, and I grabbed my leather punch, and later on I'm like, what am I doing with this thing? So I grabbed my, you'll see it here, my mini of them. I have paper punch. They work great, especially if you can get them in the different sizes. To a certain point, you can click them out really quick. Alright, now I got it in there. Woo-hoo! Now I'm doing the wheel arch, which I'm not going to cut up all the way because I don't want you to see it. And you can go back and hit the little high spots, or take a knife to them. Sandpaper. An angry gopher. Anything. One thing I like about it spits plastic out like my G3 shoots out shells, so make them a little bit bigger, is trying to make it fit the plan. I'm actually shocked I got it in there without breaking something more major like the leaf springs. I think it did knock loose one of the leather straps holding the shot. I got to glue it back down, big deal. Just smoothing it out a little, take a little bit off. Kind of like get it where you think it needs to be. Then, now this is stuffing, as you probably can't see. I got it stuffed in behind that, the drivetrain. This here is for me to mark and cut panel lines and other things you'll see in a little bit. Doing the old trick with the, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Alright, I'll make sure it's the same. I was going to use paper, and I went, wait, I don't think I have to. Later on I think I do use it, but I don't know if you guys know what a wraparound is. I use them a lot with insulating and pipe fitting. helping pipe fitter, so I wasn't a pipe fitter myself. Now what I'm trying to do is get a nice straight line. That's why I had the guidelines for that. And then take my ever-present little weaselly, but turned out to be somewhat dull. You know, I thought it was new. X-Acto knife, number 11 blade. The center seam, yeah, I just said, hey, that would be a faster way. So I just kept turning it over and looking at the center seam. It looks like there's a gap that's actually filled with super glue and normal glue. And it made it really hard. And I had a little chip out when I got it off, but I repaired it. You'll see it. Just cutting until it cuts through. Yeah. I only do this side, and see that other pencil mark on the side? That's as far. Right about there is where I got the chip out, where the piece chipped out of the cowling, not the cowling, the hood. I don't know what you call it. Now, I actually was looking at photographs. You know, it's not on the drawing. The drawing ain't 100%, and I know that. So I used photographs of the new one. And now I'm clipping out the excess in the bottom. Because I have to smooth that out or something, or try to find a way of hiding it. Just keep on doing it. I'm cutting a full length one now with the scissors. There, we got two pieces. I think here I take something and point out that it's, yeah, you see the chip? It's not very big, but I ain't gonna use no filler on it. I use plastic. Okay. Now the second fun part. I'm just running just scratching it, and I should take my my panel line scriber. Just give me something so I'm not freehanding it so much, and I'm waiting for me to poke my finger. It's that little thing that's sharp. I made that out of a small seal puller. I would like to make a different one. Alright, that's just, there we go. Now, I gotta do the exhaust holes. Now notice how they got them cut. On all of them I seen, even from the 1910, they're holes. I think they gotta remove the exhaust before they can take the panel off. Because there's no scallop, no cutting around, nothing. I looked at many photographs, all three of them, and new ones, which I have a lot. What I mean by new is the restored ones. And I always put an arrow where I want up. And just kind of loosely. And I thought, oh, it's getting to the top of the pipe is where I want it. This is the center line for the pipe. So, as you can see, it's measured out precisely. I'm making sure they're all the same height. Yep. Yeah. Going for the one that fit. I realized the bottom one might have to be elongated because of the curve of the pipe. There we go. That exhaust must be 4 inches in diameter per cylinder. Now, what I'm doing here, and I'm looking off photograph, is there's a panel that is there, and it's to get to the carburetor to adjust it or change jets, whatever they got to do. I don't know what they got to do to it. Smack it with a hammer. I don't know. So, measuring it. And the funny thing of it is I have another one on the other side, and by the time I get done looking at that, guess what? They're both identical. The one on the right side front, as you're looking out of the cockpit or out of the, was just a smidge, not as long. I'm just getting rid of the 10,000s card I'm using here. It might even be thinner. Is extremely old, and it yellowed with time. I was shocked it didn't snap. As you can see, there is a wrinkle there. So I'm like, all right, get that line down. Now, in the middle of the second dog, there's a carburetor hole for breathing cold air. It's not hooked up to anything. It just draws cold air in through there. So I got to make a raised portion outside, and that's what I'm doing now. And I wasn't happy with it, and I did it off camera when I finally found the right tool. I could find something in there, and I could burnish it outward. And I mean, this worked, but the other one worked really a lot better. It looked like the photograph. It's just like stamped out of metal, a raised area, then the hole stamped. So now I'm gonna put a bigger hole for the carburetor on that. If I wanted to really be cool, I guess I could have just cut the whole thing out, put a panel on it. That sounds like a lot of work. I think I ended up using my pencil tip. Right now I'm using everything, and it's working. But after I got it together, I could get the pencil tip. I'm gluing it on now, getting the pencil tip in there, and been able to push that out since it was glued all the way around. And you can see it slightly raised. Well, you thought you could. Sorry. I'll get some close-ups of it or something. Alright, now I need the same thing. Looking at my computer, laptop. I have a laptop just for models. I usually have it so I can look at it, so I know I can just sift through everything I need. If I got books, I got them next to me. And I wasn't sure, but I think this is to get to or they get to the ignition without pulling things off, and get to check the pump, water pump, the oil, have no idea why this is in there. Now on the German one, they're louvered to let hot air out. I don't know where the hot air is dumping to, unless it's going back to the driver or somewhere. I don't know where, from that massive engine, where this would be at. I'm gluing it. Now I have some hinges and stuff, or it looks like, on this, and I got some stuff on the other thing I gotta add. Kind of like those luggage twist things, if you know what I mean. Now, I got to, this you can see on the original car when the hood's off. When the top's off, that one side is a solid piece, a third of the way around. So I'm cutting it shows where it's brought in on the original car, and that's what I'm doing here. Then once I get it glued up and it fits, it will hold the cowling in. But I did it off camera later. It needed twisted, bent a little. I didn't have to take it off. Excuse me for yawning, it's been a long day. Okay, alright, that's fitting. Now I gotta do another one. I was a little reluctant to do this one, because it actually isn't there. But I needed a way so the cowling would not go in too far. There is a structural member of the cowl over the fuel tank or oil tank. I'm not sure what it is. I got the feeling, no, it's not a dry sump. So it's got to be a fuel tank. And there's two fuel tanks then. One's in the back in the cone, in which they pump up to push gas into the top fuel tank, which gravity feeds down. It might even be pressurized too. But if you ever watch that, shoot, it's in England. Pete, you know what I'm talking about. Good Wind. They show the guy cockpit while he's from behind him driving it around that course. And you can see him reaching between the seats and start pumping something. That's fuel tank pump, putting air into it. That sounds dangerous, doesn't it? They did it to World War I aircraft too, so nothing new. See, I'm in there, I'm curving a little, but I had to curve it a little more later. There we go. That's what I'm saying, fix. And I got that fixed. There it is. Now I got more stuff to do. Stuff to the frame. Gotta find out where the motor's going. You name it. Seats. I gotta do all that before it can be put on. Oh boy. Anyway, thanks for watching.